That all sounds the same. Get out there, everybody. Don't what you want.
Good morning, Rotarians.
Good morning.
All 10 of you. Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning is by Catherine Simons.
Good morning, Rotarians, and Happy New Year. As the calendar turns and another year begins, let us be thankful for our Rotary friends and the changes our service can bring. Let us rise to the challenges given. Let us aim to give more to the cause. Let us continue to make the world better, even if no one gives us applause.
Thank you, Catherine. And lead us in the pledge and four-way test. Patrick Shearer.
Thank you, Ron. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And our four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? On my own.
Thanks, Pat. Chris, you want to sing today? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I forgot to look at that part.
That's okay.
We'll announce birthdays and everything next week.
Oh, and I brought the attendance sheet. I'll transfer everyone's names over. All right, everyone, you know what? We missed December birthdays when Bob DiBiasio was here. That's when we were going to do it, but it was so, we'd rather listen to Bob. Okay, so if you were born in December, raise your hand. Oh, look at that. We have a few. Okay, please join me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. Thank you.
Thank you. And now our president, Terry Bortnick.
Good morning, Rotarians. Happy New Year, everybody. 2024. I just told Pat that sounds like the Twilight Zone to me. Remember back in the day when you didn't think these days would ever come? For this month, we are going to be doing socks and gloves for the Haven Arrest. I thought that this was a good month to get some nice warm socks and gloves down to the folks down there who are in and out of the shelter. Board of Directors meeting next week after the general meeting. So please plan on being there if you're on the board. And if you're not technically on the board, we'd still love to have you stop, okay, and spend some time with us. The high school, Gina and Jamie Kozman, Gina Vonville and Amy Kozman are asking for some help. The Service Learning English team is ready to start recruiting volunteers for their random act of kindness presentation, which is to be held on Tuesday and Wednesday, January 16th and 17th. There is a link on the monthly or the weekly meeting, the quick link. There's a link there for you to go ahead and see exactly what that entails and what that's about. They'd like to have 3 people sign up for each presentation. And it's really important to the kids that they have an audience for these for these speeches and events and things. So if you have a little time and you can spare a few minutes, they'd be greatly appreciative. Yes.
You actually sign up on that.
Oh, okay. I haven't gone myself to the link just yet. Okay, you can sign up then to be present at the presentations. Okay. We'll know more, I guess, about the foundation and the gala. I was hoping to have Marilyn here today, and I forgot she's still in Denver. She's still out of town. Or Missouri, okay. Because we have a lot to discuss about the gala. But she's most fluent on that. All right, so today we just need to talk about some general business issues. And we really have just a few major things, the gala being one of them. And I know that we were trying to change the whole concept this year and kind of go back. I guess, Ron, it was done in the past by committee within the gala. And so we talked about it at the last board meeting or nominating meeting, and talked about maybe having teams with a captain for each team. And the captain then would report to Marilyn regarding how their team is doing in getting their donations in getting people to come to the gala. In other words, to what the participation level of our own members is regarding the gala. So I think that's how it's going to play out this year. But I would like Marilyn to address that more distinctly with you. And she will do that. Maybe we'll ask her to do that next week. Because we need to get on this, and we need to get a date. There were some questions about what would be the more favorable date, what would be a more favorable day. We're talking about maybe a Thursday evening is better than a Friday evening. So there are lots of points of interest to discuss within the gala to make the most out of that gala, since that's our major fundraiser for the year. And we really need it to be successful. And for it to be successful, we need everybody's participation. So we will address that a little more in depth as soon as Marilyn gets back, but start, focusing on the fact that we're going to have to get on top of this here soon, because it takes a while to get everything pulled together. Does anybody have any questions about it? I'll try to answer them, or maybe somebody in the audience as best we can. Rich? Sure.
My jammies. No, these are new sweats my daughter gave me for Christmas. They say I'm wearing my pajamas.
Nice.
Can you hear me okay, Mimi? All right. Yeah, so I was out for a jog and I ended up here this morning. So the change of venue was discussed. Marilyn asked, did we get any feedback about maybe going to Sib Hall, or that's still under consideration?
No, I really don't have any other feedback yet regarding location. In fact, Ron, do you remember what the other location was other than the Hilton?
I think that the Hilton is pretty much set for this year.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And she's looking
For the
forward
following year.
to something else.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, you can't start too early
Right.
thinking about the sponsors. I know that's been a big issue, and it's a big income generator for us. And the sponsors, we have a couple key sponsors, but it's just we need to get, like, I'm thinking maybe Pegs and some of the other companies that are local here that that have been sponsors in the past. And we need to use our contacts to
Right.
contact them, and let's
Yeah.
get that out. But you can't start too early thinking about that. I know she's gonna pound that.
Yeah, and we do. We need everybody to step up and take a little effort to reach out to people and not be shy about that, and explain what we do with that money that we raise if necessary. I think most people are acquainted with Rotary as a group that does great things, not just here in Hudson, but worldwide. And so it's not an unfamiliar or an unfamiliar group for them. So you start thinking in regard to, who do I really know that might be someone that would be open to making any kind of donation, big, large, whatever. I mean, small, large, whatever they could do. But start thinking of some of your contacts, because that's what's most critical to our fundraising. Go ahead, Jay.
Couple comments. First of all, you mentioned teams. We did that 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did it.
That's what
6 or
Marilyn
7
said.
years ago, and I thought it worked very well. Some team leaders were better than others.
Mhm.
The good ones really produced. The secret is communications, having those leaders report almost every meeting on progress, and a certain amount of paperwork. The other thing in terms of sponsors, I think you need to look to what the Barlow Barn has done recently. They've had
Yeah.
a number of events,
They have.
and they have sponsors that I never saw before come out of the woodwork. So I think we need to look at who they were and approach them.
Yeah, good point. I know we all know people who are on that committee that we could maybe set up a little meeting to just discuss some items if they'd be willing to share some of that information with us. I know they probably don't want us tapping into their sponsor, but we might get some fresh thoughts from them as to how they approach that. Jim, did you have something else you wanted to say? You? Oh, I thought you had your hand up. Well, anyway, point being, please, everybody, start just thinking out of the box a little bit and think of some of the contacts that you've made over the years, contacts that you have now, people that you know that have businesses, or just people that you know who believe it to be a good program, but not necessarily able to be a member as such. Maybe they sponsor a table, bring some friends, because that leads us into our next big issue, membership. We've got to get out there and really promote ourselves. And we've been, I know, on the board and within some groups talking about how do we do that. We need to get, I mean, we've done so many great things in the community, and I'm not sure the community is totally fully aware of that. So we need to really get out there and make the community aware of what we're doing, what we do when they sponsor us, what we do with the funds that they donate, and let them know that groups like this are critical to the functioning of our community. Any comments on that at all? Any thoughts?
I was gonna say, if we have someone who's doing publicity, no, so Jay's done an amazing job in publicity, and you may be already all over this, but maybe if you gather all those articles that, or mentions that we've had over the past year and put those together, then that makes a very effective. I know it may be something that can be emailed, but well, we can figure out something. I'm just saying that I think that's one of the most effective ways of showing the things that we've done, or all the great publicity that you've gotten for us. Also, in everyone here has sales backgrounds in some kind, but pretty much any service that anyone uses, so if you have a plumber that you use or whatever, I think when a company hears from their customers, they're very willing to then sponsor something that's in the interest of the customer. And then if you're involved in big projects, I mean, I'll throw this out there particularly because I'm not on the board anymore, but the big vendors for wow, you're all over the camera here. You might want to sit down. You're you were front and center on the camera. But anyway, so the big vendors on like school projects, buildings and things like that, but also other entities in Hudson are very vested in Hudson and would be probably interested in having the sort of publicity they would get with sponsorship.
Correct. Yeah, so do start thinking of those people that you do business with or that do a lot of business in the community.
We have to find a way to crack the demographic that involves younger families. And how we do that is something that we could probably get creative if we had a discussion about, all right, where do you find them working together on projects? Well, I would think sports might be sports for the kids, or there must be some places in the community that I'm not familiar with because I didn't live here when I had kids that were in that demographic.
Right.
And that's the time when families are so busy running from pillar to post that they often don't have time outside of tracking the kids around. So if there were some project that we could get interested in that was relevant to Rotary objectives, that was targeted to other demographic that would eventually be the future leadership in Rotary, that would be helpful.
I think you're right about it. One of the biggest obstacles is getting these young people to the meetings because they're getting kids off to school. They're getting ready for work. They're running their lives. So maybe we need to think out of the box on that. Maybe we need to think of a way that we can involve them without them having to be at weekly meetings. I don't know. We're up for any way that we can involve some of these younger people who have time constraints.
One of the things that I think the club should do to increase the visibility in the community, and to Mimi's point, I think you're going to get a lot of younger folks becoming more aware.
Mm-hmm.
The farmers market has community days twice each summer.
Yeah.
We really should have the Rotary canopy up there, have a table. Jay can have a big storyboard with all of the big projects we've done, especially the ones that impact families, the scout cabin, the butterfly, garden and so forth at the schools. So.
Right. Yeah. Does anybody, I'm told Jay Zedak is the guy who runs the communications at the farmers market. Does anybody know him? Oh, well, guess what? How would you like to be delegated? Because that is something we talked about. We've talked about that we've got to have a presence at the market when the opportunity is there. Can you maybe see? Okay, because my understanding is we need to do that also now to be able to get a table there because it gets very full. Okay. 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 Yeah, right. So that's another area, that as we say, put your thinking caps on. If you can think of some ways that we can involve these younger folks, you know, that 40, 50 demographic, that we can get them involved and maybe figure out a way, you know, they can Zoom the meetings, they can. Right, Elizabeth does it every week. You know, somehow that we can make it not sound like such an obstacle for them to get to the meeting or have to be at a meeting every Wednesday. Something to get them involved at least at some level, and then maybe they, you know, work their way into that. But we've got to do something about getting some younger membership in and people to take the reins after we, you know, evolve out of here.
Yeah, I had a suggestion too. I mean, since we're talking about younger people and all that, have we ever?
You're not on, I don't think.
I'm not on. How do I,
Right.
am I on now? Okay. Have we ever thought about reaching out to scholarship recipients who may still be living in the area? Maybe they are now business leaders, you know, maybe they're still
Right.
part of the community. I mean, there are individuals who directly benefited from Rotary. They understand what we do, and it would be nice to see if maybe they'd want to give back a little bit, maybe part of the community. Maybe they just don't truly understand what Rotary
Right.
is. So, I mean, I think that would be good, as well as other organizations that maybe have, you know, received scholarships or received grants and so forth. If they're got members in this community, you know, again, they've seen the true benefit of what Rotary can do, and it'd be nice if maybe they decided to become participants,
Yeah.
and so forth. So
Yeah.
just a
good
suggestion.
point.
And again, like think like what you're saying too, whenever we're doing an event like the beer garden, or if we're doing something like it, you know, the art in the park or things like that, you know, we really need to have something out there talking about Rotary, and maybe have somebody talking to the people that are coming in, like saying, hey, do you know what Rotary is? Have you ever thought about maybe joining Rotary if you're a member of our community and the good things we do? Maybe just invite them to come to a meeting and see what they think. So
Yeah,
just some
the art in
thoughts.
the park would be another. good
Yeah, anything
place
where there's like
to-
a lot of people that are coming in that just, you know, out from the community that we don't normally see, you know, Santa, you know, in the cabin, you know, things like that, just kind of talking
Yeah.
about who we are, what we do, and the good works that we've done in the community, and, you know, hey, be a part of it. So.
Yeah. Point. We did talk also. Go ahead, Andy, you go.
Again, I'm listening to us talking about how to try to get people in here. And I'm going to say that's probably the wrong question. I think the real question that we need to ask is, why do they want to be here? Seriously, what is it that would attract someone to wish to be a part of the Rotary Club of Hudson, who is in that 30 to 40 year period or age period? I don't really think there is. I don't really think there is right now. I mean, I look at my son who's busy with his career, or all of my sons that are busy with theirs, and there's absolutely nothing that's going to attract them right now as we are here. I believe the Rotary Club has lost a tremendous amount of its benefit, which was that camaraderie. We don't have that camaraderie the way we used to have at Laurel Lake or anywhere else. Maybe it's the times, obviously it was COVID and everything else, but we don't get together for breakfast. We don't have the bad boy table anymore. We don't have the chance to interact with all the people. Instead, we come, and again, I'm the prime example, come late to the meeting, and you really don't have that ability to get to enjoy people or have fun with all the different members of the club. We don't have Fine Day anymore. I mean, it was probably one of the more enjoyable things to have Ed Sogan fleece you for $2 or $3 or $4. But at least it brought everybody together as a concept of a club, of a group. And that's what we are. We're a group. And so if we're gonna call ourselves a group, and we're gonna call ourselves a group that's trying to get young people, then I guess at that stage in the game, we got to figure out what is it that the young people would be even
Would
remotely
draw them
interested
to it.
in wanting to join here. They got so many other things going on in their
Yeah.
lives. So
Yeah.
I think that's the question we need to ask.
Good point. Good point.
Well, and I wanted to add to that because, and Andy, believe it or not, brings up some good points. But it used to be, and I still feel this way, but maybe not as much because I've been a Rotarian since 2005. Used to like hate to miss meetings.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have that feeling in your heart, in your soul. I don't want to miss today's meeting. I know stuff comes up. You got to be here, you got to be there. But you want to be with your friends, your fellow Rotarians. And I don't know if that exists right now. And that might be because they relax the requirements of coming to meetings, like down to whatever from, you know, like if you're out of town, you used to have to go to a meeting, right, Ron, in the local city. Now it's just like, oh, well, maybe it has something to do with it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and the Zooming made it too easy to not have to come. Go ahead, Jay.
To go back to how we acquire new members and particularly younger families, we have got wonderful access through the Scouts, through service learning, through the scholarship winners, through some of the community things that we do. I think we need to tap that in some way. And maybe it's just using Maryland's newsletter and getting it through those people to their families, because that newsletter is outstanding.
Yeah, kind of come up with a list of potential, not just potential members, but people that might take an interest in, would have a reason to take an interest in the whole group, in the whole club.
I need you here for my next one.
Yeah,
And
kind of target.
yeah,
We're teaming up on you now.
Pardon me.
I
Go ahead.
mean, that's just such
Sorry,
a
I can
natural
handle it.
audience for us. I mean, they're
Yeah.
people that know we've done good things for their groups.
Yeah.
The other thing that I was thinking about, what was I thinking about? Yeah.
And
I didn't
therein
get that
lies
way.
the
Didn't
problem
get
with
that
our.
Hey, I turned 83. I can do that. I am about to put together a state of the club article, which I do every year.
Okay.
But David, I need the speaker themes if they're available, because I think one of the strengths we have is the program that we offer weekly.
Yeah.
So if we have that, that'll be part of it. We can talk about some of the good we've done, the Scout Cabin, various events and so on.
Okay.
But I'm in the process of building that right now. So if there's anything new we're doing or any tangent we're taking, let me know, okay?
Yeah.
Go away.
Really, one of the most effective promotions we had was the video that Kelly did on the cabin. And, you know, when you think about it, if we can get a concise video of exactly what we're talking about, but no more than, what was yours, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, that can run if we're at farmer's market, that can be sent to somebody, and it's going to trip a chord. Somebody is going to say, hey, I do like those speakers, or I do like, look what they're doing for our kids at our schools, and the schools could have and the Scouts. I mean, there's so many benefits that you can really compile and make it really a video that is, you do that?
I don't do it.
Kelly, who did that? Who did that for us? Who did the video for us? You did. You were the director.
He is great. Thank you for volunteering.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kelly.
Well, and in regard to that, we actually discussed making the marketing, kind of joining marketing and membership in essence, and having 4 or 5 people in that group to promote the club along with getting our word out there, because I do think visibility is an issue. That's what we're lacking. But to kind of join those two things together and cooperate together to try to not only get the marketing information out there, but try to draw in those members at the same time. So that's a thought too, is to try to combine the two projects as such. Mimi?
It just occurred to me in listening to everything that is coming to the floor, that one of the things that Rotary is a gold mine for are models of leadership.
Mhm.
And we might want to think about how we could share some of that background and expertise and the diversity of background, training, career that Rotary traditionally has represented, which is one of the reasons that it's been able to do what it does in the community and at much larger scales.
Mhm.
So there may be some advantage in at some point during the year doing a leadership training that people decide, well, we want to learn these skill sets. Who knows them and how can we share them?
Mhm.
It was just a thought, but there's a tremendous amount of leadership sitting here this morning,
Yeah.
and we have lots more.
James, do they still have the leadership events and things like that through the school at the high school and stuff like that? You know, where they have like little.
So they
conventions
actually,
as
yeah,
such?
I mean, every year they have the leadership conference, which is super popular. I mean, really amazing. And kids from Hudson meet up with kids from other schools, and they basically do have that with all kinds of direction on that. Yeah, right. So I mean, yeah, so there are some models of what Mimi's talking about out there. I mean, I think what we're talking about is, I think Andy hit it. We need, I'm not quite as worried that we don't have those benefits, but I think he brought up a very good point that we need to really think through what benefits we do have, connections to others in the community, service to the community, things that people, the ability to, hear great speakers, and I mean, so on and so forth. And then maybe also look at some of the things that we used to do that provide those kind of connections. Because I think, one thing, the themes is that people are losing connections, especially since
Right.
COVID, and maybe seeking those. And I think we could provide that. And so it may be things that we're doing now, things that we've done in the past that we can revive, or new things that we can do. But I think, probably as you talk about the marketing and membership, going over all those aspects that would provide benefits to people, and then find a way to either make sure we have those still, or to publicize, what those are.
Yeah.
And in terms of a video, I mean, we have the videos for as many meetings as the camera was working, which is most of them.
Mhm.
Thank you very much back there in the booth. And so those, you could take clips from almost every speaker that we've had with
I'd run-
those.
Run
yeah.
some of those. Yeah. 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 And maybe we need to reach out also to, organizations like the Booster Club and PTO and not sure your preschool parents and stuff, they're all kind of harried and crazy anyway at this point in their lives. But older, people who have kids in high school already and stuff, they're not as constrained with family early in the day. And maybe somehow we try to reach out to some of those organizations and tandem with them on something. I don't know. Go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead.
I think the question, I'm going to go back to Andy's comment. Everybody in here likely has some kids. Why are they not here in Rotary? So really the question is for all of us, why did we join? And I personally, it was probably for self-benefit for me. Probably thought I was going to get something out of it. I originally joined the Akron Club, then came here to Hudson. But and also probably was lineage. I grew up at a time when joining Rotary, Kiwanis, those things that kind of expected of you. Your employer might have expected it. Your family, you probably saw it in your family. But I'm asking everybody in this room to come forward. Why did you join? There's no wrong answer, but my guess is you did so for your own benefit. I think we're not getting new members because they don't see the benefit.
The benefit.
So you can go out and tell them all the things you did. I'm not sure that gets you where you want to be. I think someone needs to deep down inside recognize there's a reason I want to be here. And it could be a selfish reason, which probably is more common for all of us than you
Well,
might
for
think.
younger folks too, probably for.
But if I'm 40, 50, I mean, what,
networking and, yeah.
we're just looking, age is not, I think, what's something we're looking for. It's people who are proactive and want to
Right.
carry along that mission. So the answer's in this room. Just, we need to start talking about the real elephant in the room.
Mhm. I know for myself, the reason I joined was I was always very active with school activities when I was raising my 3 kids. Well, once they all, grew up, got married, had families of their own and stuff, I was kind of like, well, I'm really not doing anything for anybody right now. And that was my motivation, was for what this club does to benefit the community, help with other events, other causes. And that was my motivation for it, was to make myself get out there and do something for somebody else. Go ahead, Ron.
I'd like to just add something. I think Kelly brought up a good point about us in this room. We are sorely missing people who will hold their hand up and say, I will be glad to be a secretary, a treasurer, a president-elect. We can't get anybody to fill those positions. Without those positions, eventually, this group's not even going to get together. So I think it's time that people stand up, raise their hand, because quite frankly, we've not been able to do it as the group that's trying to put it together. And it would be nice if some people just came out of the woodwork and said, well, I would love to do that. Thank you.
Amen to that. We are having a difficult time filling the leadership roles. Go ahead, Pat.
Terry, I think one of the things that I think COVID accelerated this process. I don't think COVID caused this. I think COVID accelerated it. If you look in the room today, do we have any of the representation of the largest businesses in Hudson? No.
Yeah.
We don't even have our superintendent here. So when I joined Rotary as a younger person, I joined Rotary, like Kelly said, to help make some of those connections in the community so that I could do my job that I do 9 to 9.
Yeah.
So that I could make those kind of connections. It wasn't that I wanted anything from them. I wanted them to see me, that I was part of the community, so that when I did need to talk to them about something for business, I already had a relationship with them.
Right.
I think where we have to start on a membership campaign is our 5 largest employers in Hudson. We need to get 2 to 3 representatives from each one of those companies here.
That horse, and we haven't done anything with it yet, is we have to get those corporate memberships active. Yeah, I agree.
100% agree with you.
Yeah, because that is a resource for us that could pull in other people. Yes, because all these groups, let's face it, all these groups, they're great networking groups. They're great, like you were saying, the expertise of so many people to be shared even is phenomenal. But we have to get that out there.
And I'm going to go back, and Maddie, when she was here, she was our outlier.
Yeah.
By a lot when she was here. And we can't just have one.
Right.
We've got to have 5 or 6 so that they can have their table that are kind of that age demographic, or the row of their age demographic, so that they build internal friendships as well.
Right.
And then Catherine, I'm going to have you put on the hat. Is there any reason, I think it's public record, that we can't get the names of the parents of graduating seniors and do email or a mailing to all of them as their kids are graduating. It's all public record. So we can get that and send a mailing to every graduating senior's parents.
Yeah.
You know, hey, now that your kids are off to school or doing those kind of, if you're interested in getting involved in the community and doing some other kind of things, it's a potential marketing opportunity. What's that?
What?
And tell them what we've done with the schools and other projects and those kind of things too. I think that's an opportunity. Well, the treasurer, but I mean, I'm using that, as an example. I'm not trying to throw. So.
Yeah, we absolutely have to reach out to those corporations. That's got to be, we can't, like I said, we keep talking about it, but we haven't done it. Yeah.
Harry, I'll be happy to chair.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Thank you. All right, we will discuss that.
Yeah, as we were talking, I was just thinking, so my dad, who was very active in Rotary back suburb of Chicago, saved the Rotary physical magazine that went out, newsletter. And when he joined, and I looked at the list, and they were all, my dad had a construction company. They were all current business people in the town. I mean, they were all, is what you did. You joined Rotary.
Right.
Right.
It was their network. It was a networking group, probably. A good
Yeah.
portion.
And a high number of us are retired, but we're very active. But I think that's also trying to make it relevant to those people, to everybody
Who are
in
still
town. Yeah.
active. Yeah. All right. Mimi was coming up. Okay. Anybody else have anything they'd like to offer on that? Please.
This is just an announcement I want to make to everybody. You know how the local impact group comes and sings for us, and it's an awesome meeting. They're having a fundraiser and they're going to perform. So on the 12th of January at Hudson High School, they're going to perform, and it's $10 a ticket at the door. There's no pre-sale. So, and it's going to be all the song. We only hear them do Christmas songs. So it's going to be all other songs, and there'll be lots of solos, it says, and it says all the members of the impact group, and it's a fundraiser. And I think that's another thing that we support them as they come and support us. I just want to say
The 12th, you said
12th.
that's a week from this Friday,
right. The
at the
12th
high school.
at the high school. The January 12th. It doesn't say a time. I'll find out and send it, have Marilyn put it on the newsletter, but it's $10 at the door. So just a story about that. My husband my granddaughter's in the choir, and he had told her that they sing too many non-regular Christmas songs. So he told her if she got them to sing Jingle Bells, he would donate $200 to the choir. And he didn't care if she sang a solo or if Jacob Moore sang a solo. But at their performance at the high school, they did sing Jingle Bells, and he got his money. But I think they're working real hard. They sold popcorn. They're trying to raise money for the choir. So
Excellent.
yes, yes, I will. Yes.
I am the youth protection officer, and I haven't gotten any information about what our next steps should be. I know a year ago we had surveyed the group to see if people ever had contact with young people on their own, and it didn't seem like there were many. But I think that we have to do something else. I don't know if it show a video, but I've been like out in the cold. I don't know who to contact to see what else we need to
Who's
do.
done that in the past? Jim Ahern? Somebody talked about that at one of our meetings.
Yeah, somebody, I can't remember who it was.
Was it Jim?
I think it was Jim Ahern. Yeah. And for a while I got some emails from Evan Colley,
Evan
but
McCauley.
I haven't gotten anything since then. And then somebody from Cleveland by the name of Melissa Thompson. And then a second thing that from the Gift of Life, they have a movie that they put together about what they've done. It's really excellent. It's about an hour. So we would go over a little bit if we showed it here, but I think it would be a great thing for us to see. So think about it when you have a hole in the schedule of people coming.
Okay, so Kelly asked a good question. Why do people join Rotary? And so I guess I was going back to when I joined Rotary back in the late 80s. It was because I was a brand new attorney in town here. Tom Vince, who I'd known from the library, my mother-in-law used to work there. So Tom invited me, and of course you couldn't say no to Tom. And so I joined Rotary with the exact same reason that Kelly was talking about. Obviously, you joined it because you thought there was something in it for you. And so you came, and probably within the first 6 months, you realized, well, that's not going to happen. Not everybody in this Rotary Club is going to change their lawyer and all come flying to me just because I joined Rotary and paid my $25. And so then you had to decide, all right, do I want to stay here and be a part of this and to grow with the Rotary Club and more importantly, to meet the different people. And of course, you got to meet the different bankers. I mean, I don't know, at that time, there were probably no less than 8 bankers, I think, on the in Rotary. Obviously, all the major banks, as well as the real estate agents. My gosh, how many? We had all of those. And again, those were there. They were there for that exact same reason. I want to get your business. I want to sell you a house. I want to work with you. But you also had, as Pat mentioned, you had a number of the companies that were there too. And so George Franchino, okay, from he was there to represent his clothing store and hopefully have you buy something from him. But also he was very active in the Rotary auction and gave away his jacket. I still have one of his jackets, always with the Rotary pin in the lapel. So we all joined it for selfish reasons, hoping to create something. And sure, through the years, I've gotten, I had some of the Rotarians become some of my clients. Won't name their names, but that was a wonderful part. But on the other hand, you really did it because, oh my gosh, there's something going on here, and so we're doing something. We're meeting people. We're having a network, and as Pat was mentioning, that dealt with the ability to create a relationship that meant you could get something done if, in fact, you needed to find a contact for doing something. Fast forward to today, okay, it's been almost, I don't know, 35 years or so since I joined Rotary, and that same basic tenant, I think, is missing, because we're not here because we're looking to get a relationship with another company. I mean, we got 2 bankers here today, okay, and Keith, I've had my account since Burt Morgan started the bank, okay, and but we're not doing that same relationship building. Well, part of it is, as again, going back to Pat's notion, because we don't have the different representations here. We're missing a whole bunch of the things. And we got to also realize, okay, if we're going to bring somebody in, what's going to be the benefit to that person? Because remember, it isn't about us, it's about them, and only to think in terms of, that selfish concept, which comes back to what's in it for me. And that's what we have to remind ourselves about, is that step has to be answered first before that larger altruistic picture of, gee, this is a great organization, and so I'm helping Hudson, I'm helping our community, I'm helping our schools, I'm helping our kids, I'm helping whatever. But that's part of that first thing that I think we have to come back to is, okay, we can tap on Joanne Fabrics, for example. Huge employer right here, but we can find somebody designated, but what's in it for them personally? What's in it for Joanne Fabrics?
And how do we sell that? That's what we have to really struggle with, I guess. Am I able to say something on Zoom? Of course.
Ma'am?
Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead.
One of the biggest things, and I've heard it multiple times come up, is there is, I mean, at the end of the day, there is not a separation because of age. So the biggest thing that we need to do is we need to be welcoming. So I am sorry, Pat, I know you mentioned a table of people, but like, that's not welcoming to me. One of the best things when I had joined this Rotary Club 7, 8, I don't even remember how many years ago now, was that different tables each day would say, hey, why don't you sit with us? And then I met a lot of people in our community. So we don't have to, like, there isn't this like huge, oh, it's a preschool parent, they're too busy. Oh, it's a high school parent, they're too busy. We have to reach out to them, and instead of deciding what they can or can't do, we need to reach out to them and see what they want to do. Because we don't fully know. I mean, I can speak for myself. Each of us in this club can speak for ourselves, but we don't actually 100% know. Like, we've never taken a survey. Hey, why aren't parents and young adults, 40s, 50s, 30s, joining our club? We don't actually know that. We're assuming all of these things. So my recommendation would be that we really put together a quality plan of what are all of the opportunities in the community that we could become involved with. How much do they cost? What is the commitment to that? And then start to promote ourselves through that plan. And then even at that, we've collected emails from parents who were at the Santa on the Green 2 years ago. I still have that list. We can send out a survey to people. We can find out what they would want. And if we have that to offer, then we can target those people specifically. But I think we're making a lot of assumptions on what is a young professional's lifestyle or what they actually want. And we need to find out what they actually want instead of making assumptions.
I've been trying to listen to some common threads that are coming up. And one of the things I'm hearing is the need to meet people where they are and understand where they are and how they can both serve and what they need. The other thing has to do with the loss of community in the organization. Tell me how many people like to talk to the back of other people's heads? Raise your hand. What are we doing? We're talking to the back of each other's heads. And if we want to have community and have people engaged personally with the fellowship that we used to have, that roundtable experience was not trivial in terms of developing common connections and understandings. I learned a long time ago as in terms of learning processes and engagement processes, you don't engage people's commitment sitting like this. In fact, it's really hard to communicate sitting like this. So somehow, is there a way that we also think about what's required to have people engage on a regular basis? We used to do it around the breakfast table. Is there a way to do that again? Because that's how we mix up, or we get the bad boys table. I miss the bad boys table.
So I'm going to make a suggestion. Pick a Wednesday every month and we meet in that room and put the tables back the way they were. We don't meet in here.
Good idea.
Simple.
Yeah, we could do that. Right.
But in there, you don't need one. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. We're getting down to where we're gonna have to wrap this up. But all right, so everybody please take a little time and think about what we've discussed this morning. And think about how you could give input, augment the situation, do whatever to advance the group. And we'll work on our end on the board on getting this, in particular, you and I'll talk about these corporate memberships and things. That's just a must. We have to quit talking about it and do it. And I think that's kind of where we are now. We have to quit talking about a lot of this stuff and do it. And reach out. And again, as we've talked about this morning, try to meet people where they are and figure out how to involve them at whatever level they can. So, all right. Thanks everybody for your participation and thanks for all your good comments. Chris? Oh, okay. The Vocal Impact Show is Friday the 12th at 7 o'clock at the high school. Yes. Yeah, but well, I think they focus mostly on adults, but you know, they bring some of the women have children too that they service, but I would focus more on adults.
Even the rest is all adult.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Hey, thanks everybody. Do we have a Rotabuck today? Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and pull it today. We have $12 in today. Whoops. Well, we'll take that one since I just threw it out of the thing. All right, it jumped out, so it must be a winner. 924690. 690. It's your lucky day.
842 million.
All right, the jackpot is $259. All right, there's a black marble in there, you can see. Okay, have at it. It wasn't there. All right, thank you, everybody. And next week, John Adams' wife, Sarah, is going to talk to us about her podcast. So make sure you're here, tell everybody to be here, and it should be a good presentation. Have a good week, everybody.